Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Su-Ling Cheng, and it is my honor to be the President and CEO of the Ottawa Board of Trade. Welcome to our Wellness Wednesday series. We're very happy to have you here. And as Lynn said, we also are recording it so you can share it afterward as well. I'm very grateful to Karen Brownrigg, who's on this call, for the founder and president of IHR Advisory Services, for supporting this initiative. Just a few weeks into COVID-19, we started to realize what an incredible impact the countermeasures to the pandemic were starting to have on our community in terms of mental and physical wellness. And so thank you to Lim and our team, and for our expert presenters who have been with us over the last couple of weeks for making this happen and starting a conversation about wellness in general. We're so pleased to have everyone here. So I want to say thank you first to our community partner, Ottawa Citizen, who supports us throughout the year. Of course, to Heather Weddell, who is our presentation partner, and our event sponsors, Enbridge and IHR Advisory Services. Just a quick update on the Ottawa Board of Trade as we continue to advocate for our business community. Firstly, for access and implementation around programs that have been rolled out to help support us through the peak of the crisis of COVID. And now, as we're starting to begin reopening businesses and looking at what recovery could be for our community, working with our stakeholders at every level of government and our business and community leaders to make sure that we are all healthy, and of course that means that we are prepared for economic prosperity. So doing that work on a very tactical level, though, supporting our business community by continuing to offer programs like this, also, as well as our affinity programs. We've also have a few announcements. We partnered with Facebook Canada along with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce to roll out a grant program. Businesses are eligible who are eligible can apply for a $5,000 grant. That was to end yesterday and has been extended now till June 7th. So I encourage you all to apply for it if you can, as it's a grant, and also share the message so that our Ottawa-based businesses can get their fair share of the Facebook Canadian program. So very grateful to Facebook for doing that. As well, we're working with the Canadian Chamber and Salesforce for a $10,000 grant program, which started on Monday, June the 1st and runs to June the 12th. Again, it is a limited fund though, and so we encourage all of our Ottawa-based companies to apply, and please spread the word about that. We're grateful to the Canadian Chamber for offering a business hotline that's running till I think the 3rd week of June. So any businesses that have questions around the programs or what's best for them to apply for can call, and we have a group of resident experts ready to take those calls. And so those are a few of the programs that we have rolling out. I will also say any businesses who were engaged in receiving the Canada wage subsidy, the government has asked us to share a link. It was in our newsletter this week, so that you can provide feedback on that. As you know, that program is due to end soon. They've announced an extension. They are looking for some feedback from all of us about what worked well, what didn't, so that they can tweak the program if necessary, and that's what it's been. It's just been a constant rollout of identifying issues, programs, tweaking the issues, setting the programs, and we're just really grateful to all of our businesses and to our government decision makers for that deep level of collaboration as we try and get through this together. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, and thank you, Heather, for being here and for sharing with us the 5 key strategies to help support our immune system, which I think we all have a new appreciation for, is our immune system and how that can be impacted by both nutrition and by physical exercise. So Heather is a certified educator and registered holistic nutritionist focusing on health and vitality. She is passionate about supporting others in prioritizing self-care and optimizing their health through nutrition and practical lifestyle choices. She is the owner of Heather Weddell Nutrition and lives in the northwest end of Ottawa with her loving spouse, Geoff, and their beautiful German Shepherd Sofie. She has two amazing children who have grown up and flown the nest. She enjoys testing new recipes in her kitchen, traveling with Geoff. Well, I'm sorry about that, Heather, because I don't think you're traveling right now. And long walks with Sofie, lots and lots on these days. Yeah. So please welcome and thank you for being here, Heather. And we look forward to your informative presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and share with you. I'm gonna try and do a screen share here. Well, you don't want to. Let's see if I can get this to work. I'm just going to share. I do have a PowerPoint and it's not bringing it up. Let's see. There it is. Are we working? I'm not sure. It's not my day for technology, ladies. I've never had this come up before. Have you?
What's that?
All this stuff is coming up on my screen.
I had one webinar when I was running the slide deck for one of our speakers, and I could not get the slides to advance through Zoom. But that was only one occasion.
Okay, so we're going to try this and see. It's just some sort of, let's see. I think I have it now. There we go. Some
there
sort of security.
Lovely.
Perfect.
That looks better. There we go. Okay, good. I like to have a visual. I don't know about you, but I'm a visual person, so I like to see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to talk today about 5 key strategies to help support the immune system. So I wanted to start by just a quick overview of the immune system. I don't want to go too far into it because it is super complex, but I really want you to get a sense of just how powerful your immune system is, because what I want you to come away with today is a feeling of some sort of control, because I think a lot of us have been feeling a little bit like there's not a whole lot in our control these days, and that just creates worry and stress for us. So I do want you to get a sense that you do have an incredible immune system, and there's quite a number of things that you can do within your control to help support that so that it's functioning optimally. So your immune system is made up of several different barriers and functions. It does a lot. So right at the top, you can see there's physical barriers, right? Your skin being your first line of defense. And that's why we're getting all those great reminders to wash our hands, right? Because viruses, bacteria, germs can be on our skin, but we can wash them off. So good hand washing is definitely helping out that first line of defense. In your upper respiratory tract, you actually have little tiny hairs called cilia. And they actually help to move harmful material away from your lungs. You have your gut bacteria, which blocks absorption of harmful substances. And of course, your excretory functions, which physically expel pathogens from the body. We're all familiar with mucus. That's sort of, it's part physical, part chemical, right? That's like that sticky trap that grabs those microbes that we don't want, and it can also help to expel them from our body. We have all sorts of chemical barriers, right? Tears, saliva, stomach acid, and other protective chemicals that are produced inside of our cells and in our blood. We have cellular defenses, right? That's your white blood cells, and their job is to track down and kill pathogens. And we also have, nasty, right? We also have an adaptive immune system, and you've probably heard a little bit about this in the media. It gets a bit confusing when they talk about herd immunity. This is really what they're talking about. You have an adaptive immune system. Your immune cells, specifically T cells and B cells, that once they've been exposed to a pathogen, they can recall the best way to go after it again and destroy it again. So whether that's accidental exposure or exposed on purpose through something like a vaccine, that's your adaptive immune system at work.
Oh, sorry, are you on a call?
Heather, excuse me, I think that you've frozen again. So we've lost Heather, which is unusual because we had a discussion about her Wi-Fi connection. So I would presume that she'll be back shortly. I know that I've had a couple of messages from guests that they had a lot of trouble getting on the webinar today, as did I. It was not easy even for me to log in well in advance of everyone else. So hopefully it's not an ongoing Zoom issue. We'll just wait patiently for Heather. Have to say her slide deck is beautiful. And we will be sharing that, by the way, with everyone after the fact. When we get the webinar posted on our website, we'll share Heather's slides. She may have to abbreviate some of her presentation.
Okay. I'll just wait a few more minutes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Zoom might have kicked Heather out. This morning when I froze in the staff meeting, Zoom actually kicked me out.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I left the meeting, it's because Zoom kicked me out and then was reconnected and then reconnected.
Oh. Well, folks, this is definitely the first time this has happened for us on a webinar, so we do ask for your patience while we get this sorted out.
We thought you just left in a huff, Chantal.
It was really early. So.
Now she's probably having a trouble getting back in.
Yeah. Can we text her just to see if she's going to be able to, Lynn?
Yeah. I think I have her number.
Zoom is doing updates, Suzanne is saying.
Oh, thank you,
There she
Suzanne.
is.
There we go. I don't know, that is like the second time my internet's bumped me off, so I have switched over to hotspotting my phone. I've given up on the connection here. I'm on my phone hotspot now, so we'll give this a try, and I hope that that's the end of that nonsense.
Okay.
So Heather,
I'm not sure.
we lost you at the end of the first slide, the slide that you had been showing.
Okay.
Not this one. I think yeah, so that was the last thing the audience saw.
Okay, so we got the complexity of the immune system. Okay, yes?
Yes.
Good, okay. I'll do a little rewind here. Okay, so I was just saying that your immune function can be impacted, right, by a number of different things, whether that be your environment, your diet, stress, sleep, even travel can upset it when you do travel. Lifestyle factors, of course. So supporting our immune system, it's a whole body effort. It's a very holistic, meaning comprehensive approach. So we're going to look at the 5 key strategies that you can do. And I really wanted to focus on things that you can actually just start doing yourself, right? That are easy to do. Although the things that are easy to do are also easy not to do. But I want to give you a sense of something you can take control of. So we are going to talk about a balanced diet and how that supports your immune system. We'll briefly talk about supplements that can also support your system. Exercise, how that's key. We're going to talk about stress and how sleep is important, why you want to make that a priority as well. So we'll start right in with a diet, and you're not going to be surprised I start with that because I'm a nutritionist, right? So basically, when we eat a balanced diet, it not only supports the health of our immune system, it also helps our gut bacteria, right? Our digestive system and gut, and it can help to lower inflammation. And we're going to talk in a couple minutes about why those two things are important. So balanced diet, you want to make sure you have your nutrient-rich fruits and vegetables. And again, variety is key with that. So you're getting the variety of nutrients throughout your diet. Healthy proteins that provide amino acids, right? Because those are the building blocks of the immune system. So we need to make sure we're getting our healthy proteins, whether that be through meat or through vegetarian means, right? Just make sure you're getting that variety of proteins in there so you're getting all your amino acids. Complex carbs like whole grains and legumes are really important as well because they provide our body with the energy that it needs to function properly. And of course, vitamins and minerals, which hopefully we get from all of our foods, right? Because those are the catalysts for all our body functions, especially the immune system. So cutting any one thing out of your diet is not a great idea. You really want to make sure you have a nice balance of all those pieces. That's just a little color in your diet right there. So here's the nutrients that your immune system loves. It loves essential fats. So some places you can find those are in things like chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp, your cold water fish like salmon and tuna. It's also in butter, raw nuts, and seeds. So those are all really good foods to keep in your diet. Vitamin A rich foods, so again, eggs and butter, sweet potatoes, those are one of my favorites, carrot, tuna, squash, spinach, and your other green leafy vegetables, so another reason to eat your greens. Your vitamin C rich foods, those are things like citrus fruits, of course, carrots, kiwi, bell peppers, tomatoes, berries, especially strawberries, broccoli, and cabbage. Your vitamin E rich foods, you'll find that in olive oil, avocados, so that makes them a healthy fat. Those are really good for you. Sunflower seeds, walnuts, salmon, turnip greens, and mangoes, which are harder to find here. And of course, vitamin D, and we're seeing more come out about the importance of vitamin D all the time. Salmon, mushrooms, milk, fortified milk substitutes if you don't drink milk. And of course, zinc is really important for our immune system. And you will find that in meat, you'll find it in lentils, your legumes, oysters, sesame seeds, cashews, and other nuts, chocolate and cocoa. That's good news, right? And baker's and brewer's yeast. So there's a few things there. Don't worry about all those foods. We do have a handout for you that will come to you after the webinar as well, with all of these things listed in. So I mentioned inflammation, and part of the immune response is inflammation. Our body naturally creates inflammation to help us to heal. The problem comes in when we have too much inflammation. So to keep our inflammation at a healthy level, you want to make sure you're choosing fresh whole foods and avoiding foods that are reactive to. You know, those are the ones where maybe you don't feel so well after you eat them. You might feel tired or sluggish. You might find you have gas or bloating. Those are all signs that your body's giving you that it's not really happy with that food. So you may like it, but your body may not. So anything you put into your body that it's reactive to is mounting a bit of an immune response, so you increase inflammation unnecessarily. So if you could avoid those things, that certainly helps. And then there's a list of foods here that actually have anti-inflammatory properties to help bring that inflammation down, right? So things like your omega-3 rich foods, right? So again, your cold water fish that we mentioned, chia, hemp, and flax. Lots of herbs and spices that can add a lot of flavor to our meals there, like turmeric and ginger. You can see rosemary, it's one of my favorites. Cilantro is a really nice one as well. And of course, lots of fruits and vegetables also have phytonutrients in them that are anti-inflammatory. Okay, gut health. Now, why am I talking gut health? I have to cover gut health because the studies vary, but anywhere from 70 to 80% of your immune system it's fired by your gut, right? So a lot of what's going on in your gut is really important to getting your immune system to fire up and work properly. So you cannot be healthy without a healthy gut. The gut and the good bacteria that reside there is a major. So like the immune system, good bacteria love foods that are full of nutrients. So again, we want lots of fresh whole foods. And then we can add in other foods that contain good bacteria that also helps, right? And we're going to talk about probiotic and prebiotic foods. Now, has everybody heard of probiotics, I'm guessing? Yes? Yeah, I'm just checking my screen to make sure I'm still here with you. Okay, good. So probiotics, I think a lot of us have heard of probiotics because there's a lot of marketing around that now. It's pretty mainstream. So probiotics contain good gut bacteria that affect your adrenals, your thyroid, liver, and how all of your hormones function in your body, which affects everything about your health. So we can find probiotics, yeah, buy them in a supplement, but you can also find them in foods, right? Things like cultured vegetables, miso, tempeh, sourdough, right? That's a big thing now, sourdough bread, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt, kombucha, wine. There's some good news for you as well, and unpasteurized beer. And if you love honey, here's some more good news. Raw honey contains 10 strains of good bacteria, and it also has antimicrobial properties. So buy your local raw honey. It's fantastic for you in so many ways. Fermented foods also contain prebiotics. Now we're going to talk about the difference between probiotics and prebiotics. So if you think of your garden, probiotic would be like the seeds or the plants that you put into your garden. Prebiotics would be the sunshine and the rain and then feeding and nourishing those plants, right? So prebiotics actually help feed the good gut bacteria that we have. So we need to do that to keep our gut bacteria healthy and thriving. So to do that, we want to make sure we have some of these foods, okay? So things like Jerusalem artichokes, chicory, garlic, onions, dandelion greens, asparagus is a good one, bananas, blueberries, almonds, broccoli, cabbage, kale, cauliflower, radish, chia, there's the chia and the flax again, and tomatoes are also good. And then all those pectin foods, right? Things like apples and pears, lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruit, and kiwi. And even your dairy products and legumes are all prebiotic. You know what's not on that list is sweet potatoes again. That's a prebiotic food as well. So there's lots of really flavorful foods that we can add into our diet to help feed and keep our good gut bacteria happy and healthy. Many of you have heard of bone broth. That's another thing that's really taken off. The thing with bone broth is that it provides amino acids that actually help the intestine. And that's important to keep that wall lining healthy because you want to make sure you're getting all the nutrients from your foods. Other things that have anti-inflammatory properties such as aloe vera and collagen can be helpful to the gut. And mushrooms, if you like mushrooms, you're in luck because these are your immune system superstars, right? Not only they're antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory, but they're also prebiotic. So mushrooms are really good for you. Okay, so that was just number one, talking about the nutrients that we put into our system through food. And we want to get all our nutrients through food as much as possible, right? So that's the key. But how often do we actually eat the way we should, right? Either, we're busy, or, nowadays maybe you can't get what you're looking for in the grocery store. There's all sorts of reasons why we don't always eat exactly the way we should. So that's why it's really important to sort of back up your really good whole supplement, right? And not only that, our soils are depleted as well. The nutrients that used to be in our soils just aren't there. So a really high quality multivitamin mineral supplement is a great way to make sure you're getting all those vitamins and minerals like A, C, E, D, and zinc that your immune system loves. So here's my 1, 2, 3 start for you. So 1, add a high quality multivitamin mineral to your healthy diet, right? To make sure you're getting all of those nutrients. You can add an omega-3 support as well as a supplement to make sure that that's maintaining the healthy membranes of your cells, right? All your immune cells have membranes around them. They really need those omega-3s. And then support your gut with prebiotic foods that we just talked about. And a probiotic supplement is a great idea to start, right? To make sure you get your gut bacteria back on the right track. A lot of us are low in probiotics because of things like medications we've taken and other lifestyle factors have really been damaging to the good gut bacteria. So a good probiotic supplement is a good way to just get going, right? And then get those foods on track to keep that good gut bacteria there. You will see immune system supplements on the market probably now more than ever, so I want to talk about those. They're often misunderstood, right? Because they advertise themselves as immune boosters, which is okay, but it can cause some confusion, right? Because you assume that it makes your immune system more active. A more accurate term would actually be immune supporter or balancer, right? So it's more about supporting the immune system and helping to balance out the immune system so that it can do its job. Some natural things you can take that are immune supporters or balancers are things like elderberry, echinacea, astragalus, plant sterols, garlic, and algae such as chlorella or spirulina. There is one on the market I've seen that I've recommended to a few clients of mine from USANA called Proglucamune. And you can see here, it's got the mushrooms in it that we talked about. It's got the baker's yeast, which is providing the beta glucans, which actually bind to receptors on your immune cells to sort of prime their natural protective responses, right? And of course, it's got zinc in it as well. So it's just an extra support when you're stressed, and we're going to get to stress and how that affects your immune system shortly. So be wary that an immune system supplement is not actually going to boost your immune system. It's going to help support or balance your immune system so it can do its job more effectively. And be aware too, any supplements out there telling you that it's going to protect you from this virus or protect you from anything or cure you, that's a no-go. The supplements are just meant to help support a good, healthy diet and give you all the nourishment your body needs so your body can do its job. Okay, so none of this is a cure or a blanket protection of anything. These are just all things that you can do to help yourself, right? To help your body to do what it needs to do. So the third key that you can do is exercise, right? Exercise does a lot of great things for us, right? It improves our circulation. It can help reduce stress, which we're going to talk about as well. It also improves digestion and elimination, which are both two key components to supporting your immune system. And it allows the cells and the immune system just to function a whole lot better. Now, getting your exercise these days is a little bit more challenging. If you're one of these people that's used to going to classes or going to the gym, we've had to sort of pivot that and change the way we're doing things, right? But we can get out for a walk. There's lots of apps on YouTube, YouTube videos, all sorts of DVDs and on-demand things for things like Pilates or any other exercise basically that you want to do. And if you're at home working on your computer a lot, as I know I am these days, and I think Lynn is as well, and probably Sue Ling, just try to get up frequently, right? And walk around your house. I've been setting a timer on my phone to remind me to get up and move, right? Whether that means get up and go downstairs and put in some laundry and tidy up a couple things and walk back up the stairs and then come back. At least it's a break. You're still productive and you're moving a little bit. And I set a timer to take the dog for a walk. And if I miss that, she's really good at reminding me. Okay, here we are at stress. Now, here's the thing with stress. We all have stress, right? And stress, there's good stresses, there's bad stresses. But when we have too much stress, right, it can actually use up the valuable nutrients that are needed by our immune system and other areas of the body. So it's really important that we find ways to relax and hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. So here's a few ideas that you can try to just sort of help calm down the adrenals and reduce your stress a little bit. Things like taking regular breaks, distracting yourself with fun things that you like to do. Meditation and mindfulness is really taking off now, and I'm so glad that it is. If it's new to you, there's all kinds of videos and online apps that are available for this. Listen to your favorite music, right? Music can be a great way to de-stress. And if you want to get your exercise in at the same time, you can dance. Of course, exercise is on this list. Making time for your favorite hobbies, because it's really important that we enjoy ourselves, we explore our creativity. And if stress is really a problem, you might want to consider an adrenal supplement for that. Be careful with those. There's some really good ones. There's some natural things you can take that are adaptogenic foods. And I'm happy to talk with anybody about that. No problem to help you choose just what's right for you. Because again, from a holistic approach, there's no one size fits all for everybody. So you want to make sure you're choosing what works for you. And the fifth priority here is sleep. Okay, and you knew, if you know me, you know I had to get a puppy dog picture in here. I love dogs. So the immune system really needs the time that you, because that's when it repairs and regenerates itself, right? So if your immune system isn't repairing and regenerating itself, it can't go out and help to repair the rest of your body. So we really want to make sure we're doing some things here that help us to get good sleep, right? So again, lowering stress, some things we just talked about, because you know stress can keep you up at night. Going to bed at the same time every night also helps as well. It helps your body with its rhythm, right? You've heard of the circadian rhythm. Keeping a regular bedtime can help with that. 7 to 8 hours of sleep is the recommended amount. Again, there's no one size fits all. Some people do well with more, some people a little bit less, but that's just sort of a general rule. Create a proper sleep environment, right? Keep the room dark with no distractions, right? And that means like get those electronics out of the room if you can. Avoiding caffeine or eating a large meal close to bedtime, that will keep you awake and disrupt your sleep. Disconnecting from those electronics about an hour before bedtime. It just gives your body time to just relax, right? And bring you down into a state where you can sleep. Things like reading books, taking warm baths, deep breathing. These are all really good things to do before going to bed. Herbal teas, lavender and chamomile are particularly relaxing and calming. And if, again, sleep is an issue for you, you might consider a melatonin supplement. Just make sure it's a really good quality one and it's sugar-free. I've had clients come to me that say that melatonin's not working for them, and I find out there's sugar in their supplement. When I put them on a sugar-free one, it makes all the difference. And that's a short-term support too. You don't want to be on melatonin long-term. So those are the 5 strategies that you can sort of take control of and work away at. So your balanced diet, supplements that are supportive, exercise, good stress management, and making sleep a priority. You can find lots of resources as well over on my website, heatherweddellnutrition.com. And we also have a handout for you that we're going to send out. I think, Lynn, we're either going to try to attach it to an email. Maybe we'll just provide a load link, whatever, figure out that works with the technology.
Great. That was a wonderful presentation, Heather. I want to take a couple of minutes and just talk about some upcoming events that we have going on, and this will give our audience an opportunity to add their questions into the chat for Heather. We have a couple of them sitting there already. So before I tell you about some of our upcoming webinars, I just want to say thank you once again to our sponsors, Heather Weddell Nutrition for doing our presentation today, IHR Advisory Services, who stepped up and sponsored the entire Wednesday Wellness series, and of course the Ottawa Citizen and Enbridge Gas. We're a not-for-profit, and we rely heavily on the support of people like Heather Weddell Nutrition and IHR Advisory to help us bring you programs like this. So a giant thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I just want to share with you some upcoming webinars that we have going on. Next Wednesday, the Royal Ottawa Hospital is going to join us and lead a discussion called Understanding and Managing Returning to Work Anxiety. I'm sure an awful lot of people are experiencing either anxiety on their own, or they own a business and their staff are reaching out and saying, oh, I'm uncomfortable, I'm anxious. This is going to be a wonderful webinar to help answer some of those questions. And the week following that, since Heather brought up the issue of exercise, on June 17th, we're going to have Freeform Fitness back, and they are going to do a session for us on exercising at home when you can't get to the gym, and some quick and easy things that you can do while sitting at your desk so that you can try and keep fit and active while you're working from home. We have some great business webinars coming up as well. Tomorrow, we're going to hear from the folks at MNP, and they are going to talk to us about managing debt in a time of uncertainty. So letting business owners know what all the different financial vehicles and options are that are out there, and how they could potentially use them to their advantage during this pandemic crisis. And on June the 9th, there's going to be a team of presenters from KPMG. They're going to talk to us about navigating this new world, and they're going to focus on some very interesting topics. They'll be speaking about cybersecurity, business interruption insurance, and also business valuation in a volatile economic environment. That should be very, very interesting. And on June 11th, we're going to be joined by Louis Eisen. I think this is going to be a great webinar. It's called Making New Rules Work. So imagine you have a brick and mortar store. Do you put up a sign that says, you must wear a mask to come in here, which is a little dictatorial and perhaps a little unfriendly? Or do you put up a sign that says, for your protection, we ask you to wear a mask? So he will walk people through how to issue and create rules that invite people's engagement and compliance. And I think that's going to be a very important topic right now. And on June the 16th, we're going to have a very interesting discussion with the folks at Fasken. They're going to talk about whether or not your business is inadvertently lobbying. And yes, many of them are. So this is going to be a very, very interesting session. They are all available on our event calendar for you to read up more about it. And we do have a few remaining webinars that we haven't finalized the arrangements for, so keep a close eye on that. You can also get updated information about our webinars in our e-blast that goes out. So Heather, are you ready for us to turn the questions over to you? We have a few sitting in the chat first. So Karen wanted to know, you talked about this a little already, but it's still not really clear for me either. So I'm going to ask you to answer it again, even if Karen knows the answer now. She would love to know the difference between probiotics and prebiotics. And her follow-up question is, I've heard if you take the wrong ones, it can have a negative effect.
Okay, it's a really good question. So if you think of your gut as a garden, okay, your probiotics would be the seeds or the plants that you put in your garden, right? And they live there and grow there, hopefully. But in order to grow and be healthy, those plants need nourishment, right? They need sunshine, they need water, right? They need nourishment. So probiotics are the plants, prebiotics are the nourishment for those plants, right? So we want to establish good gut bacteria with probiotics, and we want to keep it healthy and flourishing with prebiotics.
Okay. Yes, that's clear. Thank you.
Yeah. So you would want to make sure you've done the probiotics, right? And those are established, because prebiotics, if you don't have the probiotics in there, right? If the gut bacteria is not established, you're not nourishing anything.
So I have a follow-up question to that. So how do you know when the gut bacteria is well enough established that now you need to start feeding it and nurturing it?
So I would start with a good probiotic supplement is what I would do to ensure that you have put some good gut bacteria in there. And when you read those probiotic supplements, it says right on them, it says it temporarily establishes good gut bacteria. Those supplements are temporary. So we need to feed them with good gut bacteria, right? With the prebiotics. So start with a probiotic, with a supplement and good probiotic foods. And then very shortly, like even along with it, you could put prebiotic foods in.
So Karen also had a follow-up question. She's wondering if there's negative effects if you take the wrong ones. So let's say, for example, what you really need are probiotics, but you're taking prebiotics instead. Karen, chime in here, please, if I'm not asking your question correctly.
I don't know that there would be a negative effect. You're just not going to get a benefit from it necessarily, right? Now, mind you, a lot of those prebiotic foods that you're eating anyway are still very nourishing and good for your health.
Okay. Karen, did we answer all your questions? Okay. So I have a question, and I did put it in the chat, so I don't feel bad about asking mine now. So how do you know which supplements or vitamins you should be taking? Or do you just recommend sort of a multivitamin and less? Do you recommend a multivitamin or a targeted approach or a combination, or does it depend on the person that you're counseling?
I'm glad you asked that question. Always start, generally always, I shouldn't say always, but for the most part, start with a really good multivitamin. I see a lot of people that take the approach where they're just taking B vitamins, or they're just taking vitamin C, or they're taking calcium, or they're taking iron. Vitamins can compete for each other, vitamins and minerals, and there's also things called cofactors, right, where one vitamin or mineral needs another one in order to be absorbed into the body, and they need to be taken in the right ratios. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be that mathematician figuring out all those ratios all the time. So I go with a really good multivitamin that those ratios have been figured out for me already. In choosing a multivitamin, you do get what you pay for. So if you're buying a really, really inexpensive one, chances are it doesn't dissolve. Your body won't absorb it. It won't know what to do with it. So it doesn't have that bioavailability. So you want to make sure you're choosing one that's more pharmaceutical grade, meaning 100% of what's on that label is actually in the bottle and it's bioavailable. So your body can actually absorb it and make use of it.
Excellent, thank you. The next question came from Liz, and Liz was wondering, they had heard that tomatoes were not good for a leaky gut. Is that true? And what's a leaky gut?
Oh boy, that's a whole conversation in itself, right? When I talked about bone broth, I talked about the intestinal lining and keeping that in good shape. That's basically what leaky gut is when that intestinal lining it's actually made up of there's actually natural spaces within it, but they're teeny tiny. Leaky gut means those gaps have widened, which means that larger particles of things are entering the bloodstream. And that causes all sorts of issues, right? Predominantly allergy and allergic reactions can be caused by that. There's a whole suite of things that can be caused by leaky gut. Tomatoes are a problem for a lot of people. They can, I know for my son, for one, he just doesn't eat tomatoes. They upset his system. For leaky gut, we follow specific protocols. And again, I really hesitate to ever say that a food is good or bad, right? Because a food that's great for me and my body loves, might not love, your body might not love that so much. So everybody's a little bit differently. If you do have leaky gut, you should be working with a dietitian or nutritionist to address that. There is a lot that can be done with that through nutrition to help to sort of calm that down and even allow your gut to repair itself and heal somewhat.
Liz, I hope that answered your question for you. If you have a follow-up for Heather, I invite you to turn your mic back on and ask. Okay, so I'm hoping that means that Liz's answer has been questioned. Now, Suzanne has a question, but she had to pop off, so I'll make sure she gets the recording of this. But interesting question. How can we reduce the cellulite pockets? And man, if she's talking about the ones on my backside, I really want to hear the answer to this one too.
Oh, wait a minute, that's nothing to do with your immune system.
No, but I'm sure it's a burning question for a lot of us.
Working with, I'm sure. That's a big question, and working with that is, yeah, that requires a really long explanation, and working along with that person individually to find out what are they currently doing, what do we need to focus on. Yeah, again, start with your whole foods and water and exercise. And sometimes those cellulite pockets, it can be your skin as well. So make sure you're taking really good care of your skin, because your skin it's not one solid, where your skin sort of it's a bunch of grafts and lines together. When those start to come apart a little bit, you can get pockets and whatnot. So take really good care of your skin on top of what you've already been doing. And other than that, I would say, you know, I'm happy to do a complimentary call that's open to everybody. Right from my website, you can book a complimentary Q&A call with me to talk about anything really personal and really get a personalized answer, because again, nutrition is highly personalized.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure that even people within the same household are going to have significantly different issues and concerns, even if they're all eating the same diet and have similar sleeping patterns. I mean, everything's going to be so person specific. So I have another question, and I'm going to indulge since nobody else has put anything through yet. It was suggested to me at some point, and I don't disagree with this, that I carry a lot of stress in my back and my neck and my shoulders, and my muscles are often very tight. And someone suggested to me that I take a magnesium supplement for that. And I thought about it, but you know, how do I really know that I need a magnesium supplement? And what if I'm taking too much magnesium all of a sudden if I start taking a supplement, even though I'm following the directions on the bottle? Like, is it always best to sit down with somebody like you first before diving into a very specific supplement for your diet?
I would say yes. Again, when you say stiff muscles and somebody says take a magnesium supplement, that it seems to be the way our society operates, right? Slap a Band-Aid on it, right? Or take this quick pill, take this drug, take this supplement just to fix it. Magnesium will help your muscles to relax. That's what magnesium does. However, you said it yourself, you're carrying stress and tension in your muscles. So that's my job. I'm looking for the root cause. right? You could take magnesium and it might help for a while, but if we don't address the root cause, it's going to come back in another form.
Okay, fair enough. And I kind of lean towards, erring on the side of caution and figuring out where the stress is coming from. But let's say, I wanted to try the magnesium to see if it would relieve some of the issues, without actually having a blood test done. How do I know how much I should be taking, and is it safe? And how do I know if I'm overtaking a specific supplement?
Again, I would say if you're going to try that on your own, follow the recommended dosage on the bottle. Their companies are very careful with the dosages on their bottle. They're not going to recommend a dose that's going to be harmful to you. And then listen to your body. The symptoms or lack thereof, that's your body telling you what's working and what's not.
Are there supplements that people gravitate towards or perhaps misuse to the point where it could cause some significant health issues?
Well, that could be said of anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Julia Child always said: everything in moderation except moderation, right? This is true. It's true with food. It's true with supplements. It's true with everything in life. They can cause harm. I know of someone who ended up with too much, I think it was vitamin B, she said. She was overdosing on that accidentally. Vitamin D can sometimes cause issues. Just about anything that your body doesn't get rid of on its own easily can build up, right? So you do have to be careful. So that's why I say to people, start with a good multivitamin, then anything you add on, just be careful that you're not, double dosing on anything, because some things you can cause issues with. Calcium's another one that can cause issues if it's not in the right ratio with magnesium.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have any, your own personal philosophy that you want to share with us in parting words before you go? Do you have a recommendation that you want to share? I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. I'm sorry.
Well, it's just as far as health in general. And
yeah.
Okay. Well, definitely. I mean, go right back to your whole fresh foods, right? Shop the perimeter of your grocery store. Get as many of those nutrients as you can out of your fresh whole foods. Get yourself a really good high quality multivitamin to ensure you're getting all those nutrients, and be kind and gentle with yourself. I think we're too hard on ourselves.
Yes, probably. So do you think that the fresh and healthy foods that we have access to these days are actually nutrient rich enough that if you were very careful with your diet that you would never need a supplement? Or because I know that some of our prettier fruits and vegetables as opposed to heirloom varieties don't necessarily have the same nutritional value that they used to. Can we achieve a quality diet that we would likely not need to supplement?
I don't want to say it's not possible. It's definitely very challenging because the nutrients just are not in the food that used to be there because the soils are so depleted. It's just the way it is. I would not go without a multivitamin. I take a multivitamin every day along with the whole fresh foods that I eat. It's like an insurance policy, right? It's just making sure that you've got what you need.
Well, that's fantastic. Heather, thank you so much for today. We're just about out of time, so I think this is a good time to wrap up. We don't have any outstanding questions from our guests. So I want to remind everyone that we'll send out the recording and we'll send out Heather's slide deck, and we'll figure out a way to get, there's a supplementary document that Heather has available for everybody, and we'll get that all out to you as well. There, she's showing it right there on the screen for us.
Yeah. You got it.
I learned so much today, Heather. I am sure everybody who sat in on the webinar did. And I'm looking forward to having it hosted on our website so people can go back to it and review it at any time. And thank you so much for wanting to help out the Ottawa community by helping to keep us healthy. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. Your health is your wealth, right?
Absolutely, no question. All right, everybody have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Karen, thank you for supporting and sponsoring this series. And have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye.